happens is, and again, this is all veneer. There's nothing structural about this. But this is what we repack. Just pull all that loose stuff out, pack it, run away. Nobody's watching. No permit. Some of them, very few, are masonry buildings, but they have a through bolt through it. And a lot of these through bolts start crushing the bricks. But it's not very often. You know, this is like 5% of all of them in the United States have the through bolt through a masonry wall. Through bolts are mainly for wood structures. Most masonries, the walls are almost 12 inches to 18 inches wide, and they're just buried 8 to 12 inches deep maximum. And a lot of things that happen on these buildings, especially when they're exposed, we can see that the little donut or that little ring on the front just tears into bricks and just rips them apart. A lot of water on fire escapes coming down the wall. A lot of water gets in, and once rust starts, this is called rust jacking. Rust jacking just tears everything. Just like ice jacking, rust jacking is a process that it'll just tear apart any connection. This is in, believe it or not, Boston. This is a library in Boston. That's 1 inch of rust on that gusset. How long? Based on the metallurgist telling us, 1/4 inch every 25 years. How long? Is that at least 50 years worth of unchecked growth? This is on a library.
100.
In case you were looking to start a garden, you can use fire escapes to grow ferns and other things. And can you imagine how much water and dirt you need in order to grow plants? Another way the fire escapes are, they're laid to the ground. So that's another way. Whenever you see the fire escapes on stilts, the building is a leg, the leg is a leg. You really don't need a through bolt. You don't even need to go through into the masonry wall. You need to attach it, but you know, it's not required that be any through bolting because you got a leg, the building's a leg, and this is a leg. Stuff like this. Okay? So these are probably 5 inches deep, and here's your leg. Okay? So sometimes they're attached with expansion bolts that are deep into the wall, but because the building's a leg, the leg is a leg, you got a little bridge going on between, okay? So you see a lot of these. Whenever there's a smash, depending on the severity of the smash, this is just veneer that popped. Some guys will just fix the veneer and call it a day. They don't investigate even deeper to see what happens. And this is the wood structure. All wood structures must have a through bolt, and this is usually 5/8 or 3/4, and this plate must pick up studs on the inside. It's that simple. What you're going to see, and this is the giveaway, especially down here in Taunton, Fall River, New Bedford. Ready? There's a ton of aluminum fire escapes out there that we keep inspecting, and the guy just lag bolted them to the building. Legal or illegal? All you need, if you have 5 or 6 lag bolts, you already know that it's insulation. The cure is very simple. Somebody must go into the building, drill a 3/4 hole, put a plate on the inside, visible or invisible, depending if you want to bury it, and then put a through bolt. Now that you can keep all your lag bolts and just put in a through bolt. If it's not possible because there's furniture or walls or something built there, as soon as you put a leg to the ground over here, do I need a through bolt anymore? So all these fire escapes that got built that have been lag bolted, the first cure is just put a leg to it. Whether that's the final cure, we don't know, we don't care, but as soon as you put the leg to the ground, the wood structure is a leg, the leg is a leg, now you got a little bridge, yes?
With the wooden structure though, still wouldn't you need the lag bolt, even if you put the leg through? I mean the through bolt?
No, the lag, and by the way, I got corrected at another class by one of your inspectors. There's no such thing as a lag bolt. The lag screw. So the lag screw is basically will wick water into it, and that's why they'll pull away from a building. Lag screws are typically, you know, just to they go beyond the shingle, and they are on the 3/4 or 1 inch board only. Very rare do they pick up a stud. But as soon as you put the through bolt in it, you don't need the only reason you need a lag screw is just to keep the bottom of the support from shifting. That's the question.
I'm talking. I thought I heard you say out there on that one, if you put the leg out on the right-hand side,
yeah,
that you did not need the through bolt
correct
anymore.
Correct. Now you can keep the lag bolts, those 5 lag bolts, and you can keep the leg because now the building is a leg, and you can lag bolt into a building.
With the through bolt though.
No through bolt. As soon as you put the through bolt, you don't need lag bolts in. You don't need lag screws anymore, and you don't need a leg. the first fix immediately to any building that has lag screws on here and there's something on the inside that they don't want me to destroy or whatever, as soon as I put a leg to the ground there and supported the nose, because it wants to pull, as soon as I've made the building a leg, I've made the leg a leg, now this thing is a little bridge between two legs. I'm good. But if he doesn't want that lag bolt into his driveway, for example, or that leg to the driveway, he needs a through bolt. That can be done after the fact. But every wood structure must have a through bolt with a backing plate, picking up some studs. Otherwise, you look at any fire escape and you got nothing but lag bolts going in, 5, 6, 8 of them. I've seen tons. I've seen the more the merrier. It means nothing. It's only a matter of time before those lag bolts, which are not even picking up studs a lot of times, will just rip right off the building through wicking and just natural rotting of the lag screw wicking water back in there. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to get, you know, the compression that's going to destroy a lot of these bricks. Release arm, typical, right? You go out west, you don't see much of these release arms. A lot of them are perfectly balanced, but they all have the chain. This is what you see out in Chicago. Single action, they don't even have a big weight that's a share. Everything's on one side. There's torsion, there's twisting, but a lot of them don't have release arms. Here's a release arm, open. Doing anything? And there's that telltale chain. And there's that chain going back to a strategic place that the engineer said this is where you should tie it off. All right? So this is how the owner stopped going there in the middle of the night. Okay? From people, you know, so this thing is always in the opposition. So that 150-pound woman rule, this is where it comes into play. And you also have damage that comes. And see all the extra plates the guy threw on there? That's typical. No release arm in the chain, there's a violation. It's structurally unsound. And obviously, as you can see, a lot of see the chain there now? This is one hit by a trash truck. This is how devastating some of the damage can be to some of the fire escapes out there. And this. Staircases. There's clips at the top that hold the whole staircase. There's clips at the bottom. No, so forget about the fact that your treads may be giving way. If your stringer clips are not holding the staircase together, you're going down with the whole entire staircase. And that happened on the first shot that I gave you, that I showed. Okay? So this is a typical stringer clip. 3/4 of rust in here. So if the treads don't get you, the whole stringer clip will. This is on a 25-story hotel in Chicago. And the stringer's already pulled away from the building, from the platform. The only thing holding it is some of the rail. So you put an evacuation by people and or firemen going up, and you put enough of them on that staircase, what's going to happen on this? And that's sadly what needs to happen. Somebody needs to fall or die first, and then everybody wants to change the law. So we're bringing you nationally what's happened nationally to say, you know, but you guys started with that first photograph here from 1972. It actually started here. But a lot of these photographs we've used nationwide. So in the middle of the night, some of these firemen going up with these fire escapes, they don't know it's missing treads because it's too dark. So this is what we got to do. Between the smashes, the railings, some of them are tied in just to the veneer. See all the rust that grows when you have sandwiching going on? All this is eating the rail and eating the supports. Treads. How about those spacers? You know that in our area, you go down to the mid, down to New York and beyond, everything's a flat bar that they use for a lot of their treads and platform. Over here, we have bars on end with these little spacers. You think they ever painted the inside of these spacers? These 1-inch spacers? And guess what your foot gets caught in, whether you're a tenant or you're a fireman, on the way out? You know what I'm saying? If these things open and separate, they'll jam your foot, and guess what you can't pull out in time? And once they've brought it on the inside, it's nothing but a little piece of tube with a 3/8 rod that runs through it, naked as the day they built it. So they start rotting from the inside out. Can you fix these? Nope. Can you take a piece of grade that's still good and put in a sandwich, you know, 2 pieces of flat bar next to it, and basically eliminate this need? Yes. So does this mean we have to remove all our grading? No, you can make sandwiches to basically squish and take this position. We're going to talk about some of the repairs today, because that's going to be a very important question that people have. because obviously nobody's suffering from an economic downturn of any kind, and, you know, deferred maintenance is on everybody's top list. So let me give you guys a couple of things that are important now that we're here, especially on treads. Ready? It's going to be a paint job on a 5-year, it's $2 grand. It's going to be full refurbishment on a 5-story, it's 20 grand. The owner, on the bankruptcy, on the foreclosure, little old lady, nursing home, you name it. There's going to be some story that you're going to get there that there's going to be a priest standing nearby, and you know, you're going to be the bad guy looking at it. But you have a second means of egress that is not functioning. So in our class that we did, you know, almost 3 weeks ago in Portland, when we had the vendors and we had engineers and we had structural engineers, we had everybody in the room, we asked them this question: is there a temporary Band-Aid that everybody's going to be happy with? Well, let me throw you what the Band-Aid is that's acceptable to a certain degree, but it's on a case-by-case basis because you have to agree to it. But we have a violation on a fire escape, and it's not functioning. We need to make it functional until such time that permanent repairs take effect. So I'm going to give you a typical emergency repair that we would do. We got a tread that's got ½ inch of rust on both sides. The work associated with that tread repair, and that could be a support, a railing repair, so this applies to all my connections. I got rust. My work is really breaking those bolts, taking that tread out, cleaning out every side, reburying the tread, priming the areas, putting it all back, putting in the new bolt, sealing it with 50-year silicone, because that's the key right now. Capsulization of all repairs, mandatory. Because you got nooks and crannies, and everything you put back better be injected or slopped with 50-year silicone. Okay, but that's a long process. Every tread. I got 5 stories. I got a lot of treads to swap out. But I get there because when I got there, the fire escape was in need of repair, and it had ½ inch rust. It's not going to pass, but it's a school or it's something. If I was to take, with my impact gun, those 4 bolts out, the rust stays. And I put in 4 new bolts on that tread. Is that tread now functional? Yes. Can tenants step on it safely, and can a fireman step on it safely?